Hello children, today we are going to study something about the tissue. As you all know, our body is made up of some fundamental units which are called as cells. Tissue is also related to cell. Actually tissue is what? A group of cells. Group of cells which perform a particular function is called as tissue. Now tissues, they are present in all the organisms, whether they are plants or animals. So there are plant tissues also as well as animal tissues also. So today we'll move on to the first topic of the tissue. Or first we'll take the plant tissue. The tissues in plants, they are categorized into two categories. The first type of plant tissue is called as meristematic tissue. On the other hand, the second type of plant tissue is called as permanent tissue. The difference between these two is of division only. The meristematic tissue, it divides again and again. On the other hand, the permanent tissue, they divide only once. Now, if we first move on to the meristematic tissue, meristematic tissue can again be categorized into three categories. It is of three types. First type of meristematic tissue is called as apical meristem. Second type of meristematic tissue is called as intercalary meristem. And the third type of meristematic tissue is called as lateral meristem. Now, as you very well know, children, that meristematic tissues, they keep on dividing and dividing again and again. Now, apical meristem. If we talk about the apical meristem, this is present at the apex of shoot and root, and the result of division in the apical meristem is what? It will increase, we can say, result in increase in height of a plant. Increase in height. On the other hand, the intercalary meristem, it is present at the base of the branches and the result of this division in the intercalary meristem, it will increase branching. It will increase branching in a plant. On the other hand, lateral meristem, it is just located beneath the uppermost layer of the plant. It is present mostly in the stem part, and it will result in the increase in the diameter of a plant. We can also call it as a girth. Girth and diameter, they mean one and the same thing. So this was all about the meristematic tissue. Now we'll move on to the permanent tissue, which is the second category of plants tissue. Next is permanent tissue. Now permanent tissue can be categorized again into two categories. First, it can be called as a simple permanent. simple permanent, and on the other hand, it can also be a complex permanent tissue. Okay, now simple permanent tissues, they are made up of similar kind of cells. They are made of similar kind of cells. It means the cells which together constitute the simple permanent tissue, they are similar in structure. On the other hand, complex permanent tissue, the cells are different in structure. It is, or in other words, we can say it is made up of more than one type of cells. More than one type of cells. First, we'll move on to the simple permanent tissue. Now, simple permanent can again be categorized into two categories. That can be called as a protective tissue, or that can be a supportive. As the name suggests, protective tissue means protection. On the other hand, supportive tissue means it is meant for the support. Now, protective tissue, it is mostly made up of epidermal cells and it is called as epidermis. And this epidermis is the outermost covering of a plant. This is covered by a waxy coating of cuticle. Cuticle is a waxy coating. We can also call it as a waterproof coating. Fine. Now it is again discontinuous at some places. It is found to be discontinuous at some places. At some places and which are called as stomata. Stomata, and you very well know, children, that stomata are the minute pores which are meant for gaseous exchange in plants. Okay, fine. Now, next we'll move on to the supportive tissue. Supportive tissue, as the name suggests, it is meant for providing support to the plant. This can be categorized into three categories. The first category of supportive tissue is called as sclerenchyma. It can also be called as parenchyma, or it can be called as collenchyma. Fine, children, these are the three types of supportive tissue. Now we are going to do the differentiation between these. Sclerenchyma, it is a dead tissue. It is especially a dead tissue which is made up of dead cells only. There is no protoplasm in this, as protoplasm is the physical basis of life. So since it is lacking protoplasm, so the cells are dead. It is having thick lignified walls. which are again waterproof in nature. It is the cells in the sclerenchyma, they lack the intercellular spaces. It is made up of sclerids and fibers. And its economic importance is it is used to manufacture ropes, mats, etc. The second type of supportive tissue is the parenchyma. Parenchyma is a living tissue with thin cell wall which is made up of cellulose and pectin. It is meant for food storage. It stores food. Parenchyma can be categorized into two categories. The first it can be called as chlorenchyma. On the other hand, it can be called as parenchyma. Chlorenchyma consists of chlorophyll and present in mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells of the leaves. On the other hand, parenchyma consists of air spaces and present in hydrophytic plants. The third type of supportive tissue is cholenchyma. Cholenchyma, it is again a living tissue. It is also called as a mechanical tissue. Its cell wall is made up of again cellulose and pectin, and its main function is to provide flexibility and strength to the branches. Next, we'll move on to the complex permanent tissue, which is also called as a this is also called as a conducting tissue or vascular tissue because it is meant for conduction of food, water and minerals. Complex permanent tissue is made up of two types of tissues, vascular tissues. The first is called as xylem, another one is called as a phloem. Xylem is a vascular tissue which is made up of again four types of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma. Out of these four types of cells, the only living cell is the xylem parenchyma and the rest three are all dead cells. On the other hand, phloem in turn is made up of four types of cells. Those are named as sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem sclerenchyma. Out of these four types of cells, only phloem sclerenchyma is a dead, rest all are living cells. Okay children, now these are the vascular tissues. Especially the xylem vessels, they are present in all flowering plants and tracheids are present in all flowering plants, gymnosperms as well as pteridophytes. Whatever is the woody portion, all wood present in plants, it is what? It is only xylem. And the annual rings which are formed in a plant, annual rings in a tree trunk are all the xylem rings only, and by counting the number of annual rings in a tree, we can calculate the age of a tree. Age of a tree can be calculated. So this completes our plant tissues today. In the next lecture, I'll make you study about the animal tissues. Thank you children.